Well, good afternoon, and welcome to day 5 and 6 of my 2025 Declutter Challenge of my sewing room. I'm following along with the Just Get It Done quilts schedule, and you can find the information for all that down in the description box below this video. I have put it in down there, and the links to everything online about this 2025 Declutter Challenge. And remember yesterday, day 4, I said I was going to go through I had this big pile of scrappy, messy looking papers in this little tray, and I was going to go through and trim them and put them together by size and put them in Ziploc baggies, and I've done that, and look how much nicer my tray looks. So now I can make paper beads like crazy and enjoy every bit of it. And I've got my paper scissors here, and all I have to have is my little toolbox thing I got from Walmart that I showed you in yesterday's video. And I can just make paper beads all my life if I want to, I guess. So I'm glad that's done, and I've got that all out of the way. And so now today, day 5 is patterns. So I have this tote, which the label is falling off of. You can see that this used to be on there. I've had this tote for a long time, and it's full. Let me see if I can turn it sideways. It's full of patterns, all kinds of patterns. And I don't think these are all of them. I think I have some stashed in another place, which I'll have to go look and make sure I get everything this year. But last year I went through my patterns, and I did have about 5 of these totes full of patterns. And I reduced it all down to 1 tote. However, I have this problem, and maybe you have the same. I have to be really careful when I see something that says free quilt pattern. I will always go and look at it. For some reason I can't seem to not do that. And there are so many beautiful quilt patterns that I think, for some reason in my head, I think I have time and that I have the material and I have the wherewithal to make this quilt. And so I'll go and print off, using up paper and printer ink and wear and tear on my printer, and I will never, probably ever, make that quilt. So my tote is full again now. You can see that everything's pressing up against the side, and that's because I have printed off a bunch of free patterns this year. So I've got to go through there and purge this again. And one of my big efforts this year for 2025 is to not print off every free quilt pattern that I see, even if it's just a block. I can't let myself do that. So today I'm going to round up everything. I think I have some more patterns in one more place, and I'm going to clean this tote all up and purge it again and put a new label on it. Maybe I'll even use a new tote. But I'm going to get my patterns together. And I also, Karen mentioned today, and for day 6, this is day 5, and for day 6 is to watch and identify your hot spots in your sewing room. And that's, a hot spot is a place where things just seem to collect, like the end of a counter, or maybe you have a junk drawer or something like that in your sewing room. And so day 6 is to handle the hot spots, put things away, and organize that drawer, clean it at least, clean it up, and see what belongs in there and what doesn't. So I'm going to get busy on these patterns and see what happens. I hope I'm able to reduce this a little more this year, and if I don't, I don't, but hopefully I will have less patterns when I'm done going through this tote. Okay, I've got all my quilt patterns gone through. I went around the house and found patterns that I had in different places. I don't know why, but I did have patterns in some different places, and I gathered them all up together, and now everything is in one place. And I did get rid of that older tote that you saw just now, and it was, I'm thinking, probably 25 years old, or if not older than that, and I just gave it a toss. It was ready to crack and just go to pieces on me. And I think I mentioned in another video earlier, I don't remember which one, but that I went and got a whole bunch of these totes. These are from my local Dollar General, but they are a Sterilite 32 quart, 18.5 by 14 7/8 by 11 1/8 inch tote. And these totes are so nice. I'm using them now for my fabrics. I have one that I have designated for my a whip that I'm working on, and I keep it in a tote just like this one, and it's right next to my chair. It's an English paper piecing, and so that my quilt is actually getting pretty good size, and so this is a good size tote to put my work in progress in. And I keep scraps and other things in one of these totes. I just think they're great, and they have a top that comes off, and they have these side locks that fit into the groove here and lock the lid on, which is very nice because when you pick it up then the lid doesn't pop off, which was often the case with some of the older totes that I had. And also, something kind of cool about these totes is that they have a little groove along each side so that you can put a hanging, see if I can get a hold of it here, a hanging file folder will go in there, and the little clips just hook right onto the sides. So now all my quilts patterns are in this tote. My miniature quilts, wall hangings, table runners, large quilts, throw patterns, everything that I tore out of the magazines that I wanted to keep, the few free patterns that I kept, I just had too many, and I purged them down pretty hard and threw them away. And so now here I have Mountain Mist patterns, and some patterns I had were just blocks. So I have just one that's just blocks, and this one is wall hangings, so I have all these, and the next one is miniatures, and the next one is throws, and then baby quilts, then large quilts, and then I have quite a collection of really old Mountain Mist patterns. When the old Mountain Mist company was alive, and you used to be able to purchase full-size quilt patterns and quilting designs from them, I've got quite a few of those, and I doubt that I will ever throw those away or get rid of them, because they're pretty important to me. I do use them for ideas quite often, and nowadays with the ability to have a computerized machine that can do large pieces of machine embroidery with the module. I can copy some of these I can scan them into my Scan and Cut, and then I can change them into a file extension that my machine will recognize, and I can do some of these appliques and different things from these old Mountain Mist patterns and just do them on my machine. So I put a label on the front, quilt patterns, all sizes, and I am going to make a nice label for this when I have time and put something cute on there, but for now, here are all my quilt patterns all in one place, and all in their own little handy dandy file folder, so it'll make it a lot easier for me to find something, and I'm really glad I did this. So the next thing I'm going to do is look at, well, like day 6, we're supposed to be looking at archives, and those archives are things that sit on shelves in our sewing room that take up space that we could maybe use better for something else. And I don't have any shelves in my sewing room. I don't have a single shelf on the wall. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go ahead and just do some tidying up for day 6. I want to move my cutting mat over to my husky tables. I find that I'm not as happy with it on my toolbox as I think I might be with it on the table, so I want to try it. So I'm going to move my cutting station around today, and I'll take you along with me and show you how that goes. So this is one big husky table, and the other one's right over there just up against it, so that I have a great big surface here. And right here is my module for my sewing machine, and this is where I'm thinking of putting my cutting mat. I'm wanting to move it from over there where it's on the top of one of my toolboxes. And I used to have my toolboxes set up back to back, and I had plenty of room to cut. And now it seems like with them up against the wall, which is kind of how it has to be for everything to fit in here, I find that I'm kind of rolling the fabric up on itself, and fiddling with edges and having to turn the fabric an awful lot more than really should be necessary. So I'm thinking if I move my cutting mat over to this surface, I'll get along maybe a lot better. The main thing I'm thinking about now is that my rulers, all my rulers and my rotary cutters and scissors and everything are situated in the drawers right under where my mat is now. And so I'm going to have to figure out, I think maybe I will just put my most used rulers over here and just lay them on the mat. And then quite a while ago I made this little cute little bag. I was working on some free motion embroidery and fussy cutting and stuff, and I made this little bag, and I think I'm going to put my rotary cutters and maybe 2 pairs 6-inch and 8-inch of shears or scissors in here and just lay it here. That way they're contained, because I have little bitty great grandkids, and often I will have little children that come and visit me who aren't related to me, but I love them anyway, and I'm glad always to see them. But I don't want them picking up a rotary cutter. So if it's in here, I think it will be less tempting and a lot more safe. So I'm going to do that. And then another thing I want to do today, I have the binding on my sample for my winter trees Winter Forest table runner. This was something I did to get practiced up to do the actual table runner with these thread painted Christmas trees. So I have it pinned on, so I want to do the binding on this today, and then this project will be finished and I can use it. So let's see here. I've got some thread out, and I wanted to tell you about something I tried. This spool, I hope that you can see that it has a wide tape around it, and this is called Hugo's Amazing Tape. And I bought 2 spools or 2 rolls of Hugo's Amazing Tape, I think maybe 2.5 years ago, and I had been using it, but I found it to be just a pain in the neck. After a while, it didn't seem to stick to itself as good as it did when it was new. And of course, you take it on and off your embroidery thread all the time if you do very much machine embroidery, which I do. And also, it seemed like it kind of yellowed, and my threads are not out in the open. I'll show you one of these days when we get to the threads day. I think that's day 9. I'll show you how I contain all my threads and how I store them. But just as I've been using off of these spools, I've been throwing the tape away, and I'm not going to use it anymore. So I just take the tail end of my thread and hold it just a little bit tight and slip it underneath there, and that way my thread doesn't, now there, I told you my thread doesn't get away from me, but somehow it sure did that time. But I'll fix it. I'm gonna fix this. It's got a kink in it, so we'll fix it. All right, just a matter of getting it wound and back in its place, and when I come down here to the end, I'll just tuck it in like I did before, and it'll stay put. It had a little jog in it that I didn't see, so there we go. Now it's good. And let's see, this one is already tucked in, and this one's got tape on it, and this one looks like it needs tucked in. So hope you can see this. I'm just pulling it in. You can kind of feel it slide under there, and that's how I'm keeping all the spools from coming unthreaded. So I need to put these away, so we'll do that today. And these are all embroidery projects that I'm getting ready to work on. So, and some eyeglass cases. I'm going to make some eyeglass cases. Let's put that out where I can see it. You know, the old thing, out of sight, out of mind. And so I'm going to move these out of the way and get kind of dusted off here. And when I dust around my sewing machine and my cabinets and all this, I use a real feather duster, ostrich feather duster. You can get them on Amazon, but you need these little fine feathers at the end to pick up all the dust and debris that's on something, and believe me, it'll really work. It works great. So let's clean this off. We'll put a little glass cleaner on here, not very much, and use an old part of an old towel. You can see that's been through the mill. So just get this kind of cleaned off a little bit. And I don't use harsh cleaners on my tabletops. I'm gonna have to get in front of you Sorry. Get the whole thing here. There we go. I just use a really gentle glass cleaner and a soft cloth. I don't use paper towels either on these tabletops. All right, looks like I'm ready to go get my cutting mat and bring it over and put it on here. All right, here's my mat. Looks great. I love it. And I put my 4 most used rulers right here, so they're handy. And these are my 2 most used rotary cutters. This is the 60 and this one's 35, I think, not 45, but I think it's 35 or 28 maybe. So these are the 2 I use the most. And I did purchase a nice pair of Guggenheim scissors, and I do like them. However, they're heavy. They're pretty heavy. So if you're thinking of purchasing a pair of the Guggenheim scissors, they're very, very, very sharp, and they're very much worth the money. But remember, just remember that they are a little heavier than these are the heaviest scissors in my drawer. So just a little heads up on that. So let's see if everything will fit in my little bag here. So we keep everything nice and safe. Whoa, I don't know, that one might not fit. I don't think that's going to fit because it'd be too much trouble to take it in and out. But that will. Oh geez, what am I going to do now? Let's try it the other way. I know this is a crazy thought, but maybe it will work the other way a little better. Nope. Okay. Law of physics, not going to work either way. Alright, so here's my cutters, my scissors. I'll make a decision on what to do with these. I might have to make another case just for these. I do have the box that they came in, but I don't want to keep it. It's just something else taking up space in my sewing room, and Karen did talk about getting rid of boxes, and so I'm trying to do that. So, okay. So that's day 5 and day 6 for me. And so tomorrow is day 7. And we have the day off tomorrow, or you can deal with the hot spots that she talked about. I'll put all the links down below to her blog and YouTube channel and her website so that you can find all the information on the Declutter Challenge for 2025. And I sure appreciate you coming along with me on my Declutter Challenge. So the rest of the day today, I'm going to continue to put things away and put them in their place. I don't really have things to declutter here. I know it looks like quite a mess, but these all have homes. I just didn't put them away when I was done using them. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you next time.